Oh, good.
We're going chasing.
Hello there, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Hello, now, and welcome to...
We're going chasing.
Now, we have a lot on the agenda, lads, so we'll cut the chase and get straight down to the business.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of We're Going Chasing. We're on to the fourth day of Christmas racing. It's a bit of a marathon, Cillian, but a great marathon to be on. You could be doing a lot worse marathons. You could be actually out physically running, and I'd much rather be sitting down watching the horse racing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there. I don't think we've ever been more agreement than we are there. I'd probably shoot myself in the head if I had to run a marathon, to be honest. Yeah.
You had a brilliant Stevens day.
Yeah, I did. I'd say it's probably the best Stevens day I ever had. I had a fair rattle at it now.
Yeah.
I had a few nice winners up on Twitter, and that a few more backs that I didn't put up that I sort of ended up sort of half fancying, and they ended up winning too. It was a right day of it now. In fairness, I think Hewitt really capped it off, unreal for the Shark.
Savage.
Like I was looking at him down the back, I was saying, "Oh fucking anyway, he's not really traveling at all." When I seen Justin come down, I sort of saw Hewitt out of the back, and I said, "Geez, he's sort of half staying on here." When they jumped the last, he just kept coming. I was like, "Jesus, Gavin Sheehan is making a habit of this last to first sort of stuff." He's nearly the form jockey now in big races over in England, and it couldn't happen to a nicer lad. I'd say he's a very good rider, in fairness.
He is, yeah. I had a mixed enough day then on Stevens' day myself. I got close at Kings Hill there. I had him up on Twitter 100 to 1 in a maiden hurdle, and he came fourth in the first race at Leopardstown. We both are winning Nats, both won on Stevens' day too. I had the other Mozzie and Down Ryle. It was a mixed enough day for me anyway, but you had a great day, to be fair. And I suppose I followed in your footsteps a bit today with Caldwell Potter, Joystick winning, Nassalam winning, and then two nice places in the Paddy Power Chase, James de Burley and Bustleton. So it's fair to say we've both been going well enough there over the last couple of days. Now, hopefully we can continue that by looking at the 29th here. I suppose the initial discussion here, and we sort of finalise what we really like and put that up on Twitter is how we usually go with it. And just, I know people might be wondering about our Monday club and that. We do a recap every Monday, obviously. Performance rankings, rank who's been going well, what was good, what wasn't good. And that will not be out this Monday because myself and Cillian are in Cheltenham for a race on New Year's Day. So that'll be out the middle of the first week in January. And this is the last time you'll probably hear from us until then, I'd imagine. So that's the 3rd or 4th of January that we'll have those performance rankings out. Slight possibility we might do a preview for Cheltenham. We'll see when we get there, Cillian.
Yeah.
Leopardstown on the 29th. The first graded race there is the 10 past 1. Magical Zoe 3 to 1. Jatara 4 to 1. Hispanic Moon is there as well, Cillian. Hispanic Moon came over from France, made a first run for Henry de Bromhead at Punchestown and won quite well, beating C'est La Vie. It's a wide open race on ratings. There's nothing between a lot of these horses. Risk Bell there as well. And one that really catches my eye at 14 to 1, a huge price, and you might know a bit more about this one than I do. But Tell Me Something Girl, like her form over hurdles is comfortably enough the best in this race. She was a small bit off the boy last year over fences, but she really just jumped like a complete bitch, and she'll be very happy now back over hurdles, I'd imagine. I don't know what your take is on the race, but Tell Me Something Girl is a big price anyway, and I'd be interested to hear what you think of her.
Yeah, I find it very hard to trust her. She's obviously, the chasing experiment was an absolute disaster. She hardly won a race. The one she did win, she actually beat Instit, who ended up being one of the top mares nearly last year. And like that was a disgrace of a race, blowing Nace. None of them jumped correctly at all. So that was a bit of a disaster. But yeah, she just chasing wasn't really her cup of tea at all. But I'm convinced, and I'll die on this hill, that she'd have won the Mayor's Hurdle in 2022. She was absolutely tanking when that fucking indefatigable brought her down. She was going really well, and
Yeah.
like I'm convinced she'd have won it, to be honest. But yeah, it's hard to trust her. She's getting the weight here. She's off the bottom of 10, 11. Yeah, if you could trust her, you'd think she's the right chance. I think Magical's always the right favorite. Judging on the form with the Irish Point, that was a really good race. I know he gave her a lot of weight, but he's a proper horse, and like if he goes in on the 28th, then I know it's a different trip altogether, but confidence will rise on her then. Jatara was impressive winning Maiden the last day, but
Early, yeah.
or not, I think she won a listed race
She
the
won a
last day.
list. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She's 2 wins now in a
she's
row.
definitely improving a bit, and
Yeah.
like Hispanic Moon, then it's coming from France. She was really good the last day, and that these owners are having a sort of they have a few nice mares now as well. I know they've what's the name of the other one? I think she's out for the season, but she won a maiden in Goran Park. Can't think of her name, but yeah, it's a good race, and I think if Magical Zoe turns up in the same form as she was in Down Royal, she'll be hard to beat. But yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I might chance Hispanic Moon on a
Yeah.
second run for Henry,
Yeah,
to be
at the
honest.
price too. I find it very hard to pick anything there with a real confidence at the
Yeah.
moment, just because there's so many of them there around the same level. It is very hard, but at a nice price, tell me something, girl. Doesn't look a bad option to me. We'll go on to the Neville Hotels Novice Chase then. Cillian Florin Porter doesn't see a horse.
Why is he not running?
No, he won't see one. They'll all be behind him. You'll see him walking around the parade ring, and he'll see him again when he gets back to the parade ring after the race and he's in the winning enclosure. You might see a few of them walking in. I'd say he goes pillar to post, and he doesn't see a horse, to be honest with you. Classical Dream, obviously out of this. Corbett's Cross, top of the betting, 7-4. I just think Florin Porter is going to love it around Leopardstown. He always does, really. Back going left-handed. Like, you can throw the form of Favori de Champdou beating him by, I don't know, lengths straight out the window, because this is a completely different race. Now, Favori de Champdou might beat him again, but this is a completely different race. I'd be very sweet on Florin Porter, to be honest with you.
Is there a case to be made that he mightn't even make the run? Like Grange Clare West is a complete stout front runner as well, and like could you make the case that like from what he did in his beginner's chase is like to do to Hartwood and Corbett's Cross from the front, that Paul Townend is 100% wanting to make the run, and like they could easily take each other on. I've no doubt the best horse in the race is Corbett's Cross. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. 6-year-old improving. He was really good the last day to beat Three Card Bragg, who was definitely very, very fit in that race, because the money that was punted on him late before the off into favoritism. And I've no doubt Corbett's Cross the best horse in the race, but I just think like he's a fall in his lap, like with the Florin Porter and Grange Clare West take each other on. Like, Paul Townend isn't going to let Florin Porter have it all his own way. We've been down this road before with him. Like, if he does get it his own way, he's hard to peg back. When you're on a horse that's as keen as Grange Clare West as well, you're going to want to be like, he mightn't have a choice but to go forward. I could just see them taking each other on and it falling in Corbett's Cross.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and they're fair points, but I just think he's good enough to defy.
If he doesn't win this, he can be wrote off as a chaser, because this is his chance. Like, this is his race. The RSA is when everything is fully tuned up and a bit more experience
yeah,
there's no
maybe.
chance he wins that.
No, I'd say
if he
he's
wants to win a grade 1, this is it.
He's as good a chance here as he does in the RSA.
Absolutely not. Sure, he's probably a 14 shot for the RSA. He's 11-4 here, like,
Yeah, but that's anti-post prices.
But
once he wins this, he'll be 5-1.
There's no way that he's going to has a better chance in RSA than he does here. Like,
as good a chance. I'm sure he'll be
when everything shows up.
Corbett's Cross will be one of his main dangers in an RSA, and he's here in this race.
I agree with you. Yeah, that's fine.
So,
but there's plenty of other horses to turn up in an RSA.
There is.
There's plenty of English horses too that are stay away Faye. Like, come on.
Stay away Faye. I don't think. I wouldn't be awful keen on him. To be honest.
Form took a bit of a knock with Giovinco, but like I don't know. I just think that like if Florin Porter can't win this, he can forget about it in the RSA.
Yeah, well, Flooring Porter will win it, and he's going to win the RSA too. Very, very good horse. The Matheson Hurdle, over 2 miles. You were on the other podcast. Which podcast was it again?
The Only Fools Love Horses.
Only Fools Love Horses. And you said Fields do the Ree each way at 100 to 1. You had 3 places on him. You thought only 3 runners would turn up, but Impaire Et Passe has ruined that for you. You were picking up free money essentially, almost. Had Impaire Et Passe not turned up, but nobody really was expecting him to turn up. But here he is, and he's 2 to 1, and I think he's a good bet at that, to be honest. And anybody who listens to this podcast will know that I'm a huge fan of Stateman. I love the horse. He's incredibly boring. He does everything straightforward. There's no trills or frills with him, and there's no complications. He just goes out there and he does it. Now, and I do love him, but what I'd say is, if you look back through his form, Impaire Et Passe is potentially the best horse that he's ever faced over hurdles, bar Constitution Hill, the one time that he was bet. Like, you're going back there, you're looking at Sharjah in 2022, Vauban, Honeysuckle in 2023. Like, that's a Honeysuckle well on our way down. I think all those horses has been picking up a lot of, I won't say freebies, but a lot of softer, weaker races. Impaire Et Passe is a horse on the up. I think will be better over 2 miles than he was over 2.5 at Fairyhouse. And I just think that at the prices at 2 to 1, I think there's value there in Impaire Et Passe. I don't think he should be 2 to 1. It should be more like maybe Stateman 4 to 5, Impaire Et Passe 6 to 4. You're shaking your head there as I was speaking through that, Cillian.
Yeah, I don't think they're both going to run. So that's no, I don't think Stateman's going to run.
Do you not?
No, I don't think he's going to run on heavy.
Okay.
I was looking back through his form, like that ground is, and if they get the rain they're expected to get tonight and maybe tomorrow, like that track is going to be a fucking disaster. You can drain it all you want. If the ground is cut up, the ground is cut up. He's only raced once on very soft. He lost to Bustleton in a hurdle race, 3-year-old hurdle over in France.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think Willie's going to run the two of them. I'd say he's probably thinking Impaire Et Passe. He's done it on heavy before. He's Diamond Boy as well. They're all really soft ground horses, like real soft stuff horses. So maybe he's just declaring him in case the ground is too bad for Stateman. I don't see both of them running. It'd be on this type of ground. It could potentially break both of them, like at this stage of the season. If they're all out, the two of them, and they're closely matched, I'd say. I think Stateman is better, but I think they'll be closely matched, and they could easily leave races behind for later in the year. Because that ground is very very tough going.
You could be very right. You definitely could be very right. It makes total logical sense what you're saying. In any case, 2 to 1 Impaire Et Passe is still a bet, because if Stateman is pulled out, there'd be a rule 4 on it, definitely, but it'll still work out at better value. It always does.
Oh, I agree with you.
If you have the early price, so
yeah.
But that is a fair price, and it's quite likely, probably from what you're saying. No, I hadn't thought of it, but it does make sense. Just going back a small bit then, in the card, Cillian, we've got the 12:35 there, a lovely maiden hurdle, Ballyburn, Cletus Poolaw. That form took a knock today, but conditions didn't really suit Daddy Longlegs. Further down there, you've got Apples of Brazil. It's a nice race, but you'd imagine it's probably between Ballyburn and Cletus Poolaw.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think there's definitely some very good horses in it. Like Cletus Poolaw, he was beaten well by Daddy Longlegs the last day. That form's taken a bit of a knock, but I think the ground just went completely against Daddy Longlegs there today in Leopardstown. I don't think that's his real running, to be honest.
Cletus Poolaw is actually, sorry to interrupt, is declared at Limerick as well tomorrow, so it's quite possible that he won't be there.
Yeah, I think Ballyburn will
Yeah,
win no
yeah,
matter who's against him anyway, to be honest. I think he's got stepping up and trip to 2.5 miles. I think that'll probably suit him.
yeah,
Probably does need to settle a small bit better, but he's well capable. He's a very high class bumper horse, and he showed a very good level of form with Firefox as well. I think Apple's a Brazil is interesting. Like he was absolutely punted the shite of in Punchestown against Ballyburn, and he ended up being well bet. Really, he was beaten 10 lengths that day. Now they sort of all finished in a bunch from second down to him, but I don't know. I think there was a bit to like about his bumper in Navan as well, albeit the winner has come out and was well bet since. I think he was the Cromwell horse got beat by the Enabler the last day in Navan. He got hammered, so that form's taken a bit of a knock. But Ballyburn is, I'd say, he's very very good horse still. I think
yeah,
coming up easy isn't the worst joke in the world either. He's beaten 18 lengths behind Stellar Story the last day in Navan, but didn't really settle too well. And he probably just he could say he come on for the run a good bit as well. He seemed to sort of blow up turning into the straight a bit. So I'd say he could improve a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he was to maybe follow Ballyburn home, perhaps with a bit of hurdle experience.
yeah. In any case, Ballyburn will likely be extremely short,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and will go on to win. Moving on from that, then just briefly, the 255. We have a novice handicap hurdle, and there's one horse I do quite like, and this is Watford Whispers for Henry de Bromhead and Mark Walsh. Mark Walsh gave this horse a superb ride at Fairyhouse back at the start of the month to win a rated novice hurdle. Is now rated 123, and I think that rated novice hurdle was a quite a decent race. To be honest, Answer to Cafe was there in second for Terence O'Brien, rated 128. Even just going down through Luminous Light, Stormy Judge, Redstone, all the way down in sixth. Redstone bet King of Kingsfield in Fairyhouse back at the start of October. Now you probably couldn't take that form too literally, and he's been bet six, but I don't think that was a bad race. Mark Walsh gave the horse a super ride, and I think off 123, I definitely think there is room in that mark. 100% I do, to go and win a race like this. So that's one I'd like in that. Is there anything else in Leopardstown yourself, Cillian?
Yeah, I've won in the 12 o'clock. Neff and Beg for Sean Doyle. I think it's just he's a 103 rated hurdler. He's had two chase starts, beaten 45 lengths by Silent Approach, who went on to win the graded race at Cork, and was beaten 4 lengths by Leash Oscar's son of Gavin Cromwell the last day in Tramore. Goes into a handicap now off 102. Interesting. His first handicap hurdle was a handicap debut, won at 33-1 down in Cork on yielding to soft ground. But I think he does go all right on sort of heavier ground as well, so it should still suit. But yeah, just stepping into a handicap for the first time, he'd be interesting enough. And Danny Gilligan, probably the top conditional jockey in Ireland at the moment, is down doing 10 stone 7 on him. So the 10 stone 9 less the 2. So I'd say he should go well enough. I don't know. Again, we don't have the prices, but I'd imagine he'd be towards the top of the market off that kind of weight and mark, making a handicap debut as well.
Yeah. And then just briefly, Limerick. I know we both looked at it and we've both picked out one horse for Limerick. Mine comes in the 205, again in a rated novice hurdle. She's a fine wine. Won her maiden hurdle back in October, and it was at Limerick, and I thought it was a particularly poor race. Ran at the Navan Racing Festival, put a lot of time into trying to figure out that grade 3 that she ran in, and I had sort of completely put a line through her, to be honest, because of how weak her maiden hurdle was. But she did surprise me by finishing a 10 lengths third to What's Up Darling, which is decent form in the context of this race. And I just think now, back at the scene of her maiden hurdle victory, maybe she can take another slight step forward and win what seems to be quite a winnable race. and then you had one in the 1220, was it?
Yeah, one of the rare veterans chases in Ireland. There's only 5 runners, and it'd be the top of the weights I'd be looking at with expatriate. For Elmarie Holden, he was previously 147 horse, going back now a couple of years ago. His last 2 runs off a long break, when he finished down the field in a Thyestes, off 144. He's since pulled up behind Lucid Dreams in Goran Park, and then was 6th in Fairyhouse the last day. But he's a sliding mark. He's down to 123 now. So, and stepping into what looks a very winnable veterans chase. Hugh Morgan rides him as well. So Hugh isn't getting too many rides on the track at the moment, but he's a pretty good rider, in fairness. So yeah, I think that's definitely a winnable race for Expatriate, providing he retains a small bit of ability. It doesn't need to be completely as good as he was, but yeah, a small bit of the previous ability, and it should be well winnable here.
Very good, very good. Interestingly, actually, that horse, Expatriate, his best runs, I know, going back a while, but they were all on soft ground, heavy ground, you know, which is what he's going to encounter at Limerick on Friday as well. But lads, from us, that's all for today. The very best of luck with whatever you do. I hope you've had a lucky couple of days prior to this. And thanks very much for listening. A very happy new year to Ollie. We don't know if we're going to be back. What do you reckon? Will we do a video for Cheltenham?
No,
probably not.
I'm going drinking.
There's your definitive answer. So that's it. Happy New Year to you all. Thanks a million for listening to us throughout the year, and we'll see you in the new year. All the best.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
It's Honeysuckle and right